Alright guys, so it's been about a day now since Asmongold went onto Twitch and said something pretty wacky to say the least. The entire internet for the most part, except like his greatest allies and friends or followers, have kind of, I wouldn't say turned on him, but just blatantly outright said what he said was very dumb. I'm on that side, and a lot of you have let me know that L take Cameron, L take Bozo, unsubbed. That's fine, okay? What he said was stupid. If he didn't mean it, that's fine. I accept his apology. If he worded it wrongly, I accept that as well. I'm not on the side of, oh, Asmongold said something bad, let's cancel him, let's end his career, ban him from Twitch. I've never been on that side, and I never will be. Now, following these comments that he made, Asmongold would be banned, right? Asmongold's main streaming account, Zach Rar, has been banned from Twitch following racist comments. Again, I do not have the platform, or do I want to even make the attempt to define what he said as racist or not, okay? I think people are allowed to have opinions, and sometimes people make really stupid opinions, which he's admitted, right? He ended up going on to, Twitter saying this. Looking back on it, I was way too much of an asshole about the Palestine thing. My bad. Of course, no one deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive. You guys deserve more than me saying stupid crap like that. I'll do better. This was before he was banned, so I can give him the benefit of the doubt that he was willing to apologize before facing any sort of punishment. Now, mind you, he is a, content creator with millions of subscribers, millions of dollars behind him and backing and teams and blah, blah, blah. And so, of course, it makes sense, to start covering your bases, putting out statements, apologizing, taking back opinions, even if you do stand by them still. When you are this following, it's not a good idea to say them. I know a lot of you are already unsubbing. I get it. Fine. Just leave your dislike and be gone. When you have a large enough following, you have to be very careful with what you say and how you word things. And even if you say something that in your brain is accurate, in your brain is how you feel and how you believe, other people will be offended by it. If it doesn't fit the narrative of what's popular, you're going to face scrutiny for it. And in this case, Asmongold is now facing that. Now, in my video from 2 days ago, I ended up talking about, the whole situation, and I said, this is bad news because Asmongold represents a lot of people and a lot of companies. He represents Twitch. He represents OTK, which is a gaming group. He represents Starforge PCs, both of which have now come out and said they have parted ways with Asmongold. Right? OTK Network just put this out literally 30 minutes ago. A few days ago, Zach Asmongold made some comments that even in his own words were disgusting and abhorrent. OTK denounces all forms of discrimination and violence, and that sort of behavior cannot be tolerated. Yesterday evening, we spoke with Zach, and he will be stepping away from his roles at OTK and our affiliate companies Starforge, Mythic, and Mad Mushroom. In our conversation, Zach vehemently expressed a desire to change his life and broaden his perspective. Earlier today, he posted a video detailing his thoughts on his comments, along with the changes he plans on making moving forward. We hope Zach remains committed to the promises he made to us, the community, and to himself. In the meantime, OTK will continue fostering an opinion and inclusive work environment dedicated to producing the best live streaming content possible for our community and partners. And now again, I made it very clear, I don't think that he should have been canceled or fired or let go or part ways with any of these companies. But I guess this is, all these companies are finally taking a stand. And now it makes you wonder, why don't any of these companies take a stand when Hasan or anyone like that comes out with their sentiments, right? When it comes to streaming and platforming and interviewing literal terrorists or literal people who go and end the lives of others and bring them on spouting and be like, oh, he's like Luffy from One Piece, or just recently comparing them to Anne Frank.
Experience is like, it's literally like talking to fucking Anne Frank, basically.
This is all things Hasan has done, and he's still living large on YouTube and Twitch and still, being sponsored by companies. I remember seeing freaking Hasan sponsored by Cyberpunk when the new DLC came out. So to see things like that happen, but then Asmongold be banned for sharing similar opinions just on the opposite side, is kind of interesting. Now, here is Starforge Systems' statement. We had spoken to Asmongold and we had mutually agreed to part ways. Starforge unequivocally rejects all forms of discrimination, hatred, and violence. We stand by and align ourselves with those around the world seeking to foster acceptance, unity, and dignity. So, again, another company, pulling themselves away, saying, Asmongold, we're going to go our separate ways, it's all mutual, blah, blah, blah. It's never really mutual. Usually the big companies are like, hey, we got all this money, we have all these stakes, and we can't really have you represent us anymore, and we're gonna move on, Whether you like it or not, it just helps to go their separate ways. Everybody walks away in the end, similar to what we saw with Dr. Disrespect and his gaming company that he created. They parted separate ways. They went their own ways, which usually just means they got fired in a nice way. Alright, now, Asmongold ended up making an apology video on top of his actual tweet. This was from 7 hours ago. It's already hit 1 million views, so pretty massive already, called My Plans Moving Forward. Let's just listen.
Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you all about what my reason was.
It's in 1.25 speed, by the way. He doesn't talk this fast.
For getting suspended on Twitch, and also what my plans are going forward. I'm going to try and structure this video into 2 parts, where the first part is going to be me talking about the Twitch suspension, second part is going to be talking about myself. And the first thing I want to start off with is something that I know it might sound a little bit insincere because of how ridiculous this is, but I really mean it, and if you listen to the whole video, I hope you can see why. Everybody who's come and spoken out and talked to me and said stuff about me, aside from the, oh, you should kill yourself or something like that, I want to say that I really appreciate you. And I think this has been something that's a long time coming. And I actually think that this is something that not only I deserved, but it's also something that I needed. And I want to talk about what the reason for that is, but I want to start off and just make sure that that's actually very clear. So a couple of days ago, I made some comments about Palestine and also about Hamas and, some just general, basically opinions that were trivializing the genocide that's happening there. And I don't really want to mince words or try to oh, I wasn't justifying or, promoting it. I said something about it that was disgusting. I said that I didn't care about innocent people getting killed by another force, by anything. And I think that that's a horrible, disgusting, mean-spirited thing to say. And
first off, let's just say respect to Asmongold for taking it on the chin. Whether he agrees 100% with what he's saying or not, whether this is just some corporate jargon, mumbo jumbo. They said, Asmon, you got to go out there and make a statement. You make us look bad, blah, blah, blah. Mad respect, because he's just taking it on the chin, saying, I screwed up. I'm bad. This is good for me because I can learn more about the world, and I'm understanding why, looking back, what I said was dumb. Again, on this channel, I love people having opinions. I love to defend people who say stupid things and say stupid opinions. And for someone who's like a drama channel, if there's drama that I disagree with, I will give my opinions and thoughts on why I disagree with it. But as for this statement that Asmongold said and the things that he said, and that over 20 minutes worth of Twitch footage, it's extremely difficult to agree with what he said. It's difficult to kind of understand when there's context that doesn't really back up what he's saying. And especially when you start to, listen closer to what he said and, saying how Palestine deserved it. And when you look into the people in Palestine, a lot of them that didn't want to necessarily power Hamas and things like that, saying an entire nation deserves something as horrific as, a war or whatever's going on over there is dumb. That's the only way to really describe it. And to see people come out and support Asmongold and say oh, they're only mad because he said something correct. It's just dumb. It's just ignorant. And I just want to say mad respect to Asmongold for just coming out and saying what he said was wrong, and that he's, willing to learn from what he said was wrong.
And I don't necessarily think that it was really racist, really, but when I'm using language like Palestinians or the people there, rather than what my real language was, I've always been very outspoken and very against religious extremism, and I still am. I think that any religion and any way of thinking that's going to cause you to put other people in kind of positions below you as gay people, women, people with disabilities, anything like that, I think that that's a really bad position to have, and I really don't like that. And
See, another, mad respect to Asmongold, and he's not lying about this. There's a girl named Melanie Mack who's recently been defending Asmongold, and he's made videos talking about her, reacting to her content, and she is, a bit of a nutty Christian conservative creator who, talks bad about gay people and whatnot. And he's called her out, rightfully so, and said she's a silly person, blah, blah, blah. And the way she, looks at faith and how she treats gay people is kind of whack. And she even took that on the chin and is still coming out to defend Asmongold for being banned. So it's not mutually exclusive that he's only disrespectful towards Muslims or towards people in the Middle East or Palestine. It's that, I guess, the way he handled this situation received much more pushback because it's a very trivial topic, a very popular topic, a very, trendy thing happening right now where it's so polarizing. You have literal left and right fighting each other. The internet is going crazy over it. The whole world is going crazy over it. Of course, there's literal wars going on. And yeah.
I think that my problem and my fault here was that I was making a criticism of religious extremism, and I made no effort. And I feel like almost, I've rewatched the clip, right, or a number of the clips, and it's like I've almost made an effort not to draw a distinction between the two things. I think that a lot of us here can easily say that we're against religious extremism, and I am. But whenever I categorize everybody in the area as this, group, then I'm the asshole. And I was the asshole. I had a lot of you guys tell me that. And
I agree. I think that religious extremism is stupid. I think that people who use religion as an excuse to be hateful towards other people or to be homophobic or transphobic, whatever it may be, is stupid. You can do it. I think you're a dumb person if you do it. But just saying it's stupid. And I think something like Sharia law is very bad as well. He even said that. Asmon said Sharia law is bad. Everybody was kind of on it. They were like, okay, based. And then he quickly started turning very, very bad. He started saying things like, well, Palestine deserves it because, they're inferior. And he was mincing his words. He wasn't being elaborate with what he was saying. If he's saying people who support Sharia law are inferior, I think that's an opinion that I can say is kind of based and I wouldn't necessarily disagree with. But the fact that he was saying Palestine deserves it, they're inferior, he got himself, he dug himself a hole and he just kept digging and digging the longer that clip kept going. And now, we're seeing what happened.
It's taken me, this is what's so crazy about it, is that I think this has been going on now for 2 years. I think that I've been slowly devolving into the most mean-spirited, I don't really even know what the word is for it. Just the most mean-spirited, rude, nasty, just callous, psychopathic version of myself. I think that I've been devolving into this. And a lot.
This makes me seem like, or this makes this entire thing seem like it's just written by some big wig tech person or company person at Amazon or Twitch or whatever other companies he represents, an agent. Because I wouldn't say anybody thinks Asmongold is mean-spirited. He says some edgy things. He talks about things like Sweet Baby Inc. and video games being woke and movies being woke and things like that. And he gives his opinions. But he's nothing more than just, I guess you could say, a conservative, right-leaning gamer dude bro. I wouldn't say he's the most evil, rude person ever. And to me, this statement just seems like he's apologizing to the mob on Twitter and these kinds of people who go on Reddit and YouTube drama and have 40 different posts about how Asmongold is the worst human being alive. And I don't agree with that. Again, he said something really stupid, but I don't think Asmon's the worst person alive. I think some of his opinions are funny. And I don't think it's the end of the world what he said.
A lot of my friends have told me this. My dad has told me this. He said, you've got to chill out. You've got to calm down. I've been like, oh, that old man doesn't know what he's talking about. And I've finally had some level of accountability for that. And thank God. I look back at some of the things that I've said and done over the past 2 years, and I don't think that I've been wrong about everything, obviously, right? But there have been ways that I've communicated and ways that I've acted that are indefensible. And I think looking back on it, it's just disgusting. And it's something that when you get lost in the sauce and you get fixated around like listening and reading feedback and, just getting hyper fixated, this is like your entire life, you lose a perspective on reality and you lose a perspective on the world. And I think that perspective was...
Again, you see what I mean with the whole corporate speak? This is an insane pause right here. That face is insane. Either way, again, he's acting like he's the most evil person alive. Like, this is a statement that I could see someone like Andrew Tate coming out with while he's like serving time in prison. This is literally an Asmongold, a dude who got famous, 10 plus years ago for playing World of Warcraft and now makes reaction content to silly videos and says some edgy, silly jokes once in a while and gives some pretty goofy opinions. I really don't understand why he's so, adamant on creating this narrative that he's the worst human being alive and that he has to learn from it. He said some dumb comments. He said stupid things. He's admitted they were stupid. That's all I think he had to do. And he's kind of just making it seem very corporatized, the fact that he's coming out with this insane statement regarding just a dumb thing that he said that, he got his 14-day ban. He's going to serve his ban. And he could just come right back and watch what he says. That's all he has to do. No one's asking for, this miserable statement where he's painting himself out to be the worst human being alive, because it just comes across as so silly. All right, so about 13 minutes in is where he talks about stepping away from all of the companies and things he owns, like Starforge Gaming or Starforge Systems and OTK. So we'll just take a look
I'm
at
going
this.
to take a step back from all of that. I'm going to step away from my leadership position in OTK and Starforge and everything. I want to, and they're fine with that. They respect that, and I want to do this. And I want to do this not only for them, but mainly for myself, so I can be a better version of myself for everyone. And I want to apologize to all you guys, my viewers, that I don't think I've lived up to that. I think that I can be a lot better than what I am right now. And I don't even think that I've been putting in half the effort that I should be in the way that I should be. And I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, it's because you just like re-upload reactions. But I mean, again, it's not my cup of tea. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I don't think it's the worst type of content, especially Asmongold. Like, he's at least funny. He adds a little bit. He talks about gaming content, clearly something he's very knowledgeable on. So, I mean, unless he comes back and is going to be posting World of Warcraft content or like 8-hour-long analysis videos on like, political topics and things, I don't know exactly what he means by he's going to come back with a new slate of content and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I hope this isn't the end of Asmon, because I don't dislike the guy.
And so my plan is to, when I get unbanned, I'll keep streaming regularly, right? And I want to focus more on trying to do things that are fun, trying to laugh more with people rather than at people. I'll still laugh at people every once in a while, okay? Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But it's about a focus, and it's about a tone. I listen to my tone in the clip, and I just sound like such a piece of shit. Really, at the end of the day, I sound like a piece of shit. I sound like a terrible person, and it's just so mean-spirited.
Again, it's not really a piece of crap. It's more like he's just smug. He knows that his millions of viewers are his friends or fans, and they agree with him, and if they don't, they'll leave. So he's just talking to his echo chamber, right? That's one word people like to use, an echo chamber. People who agree with you, people who support everything that you say, and if they don't, they will start to think and do everything you say. And that's kind of what happened in this situation, where he was just saying something, his chat reacted the way he expected, he kept going, chat kept reacting the way he expected, and then you don't realize that this small echo chamber doesn't represent the entire internet, which is why the moment he got off stream, he had to put out a statement, apologize, parted ways with all these different companies, and realize he made a huge mistake because he was just, yapping to his audience of people who agree with him and aren't, able to put him in a spot where they can tell him what he's saying is wrong, or what he's doing is wrong, or what he said he didn't mean, things like that. And that's going to happen when you're a large content creator. You start to let that ego get to your head of oh, I have all these numbers, I have all this money, so clearly I'm doing something right. I have no need to change. I have no need to admit fault. I have no need to backstep on what I've said when I'm clearly in the wrong. And that's what happened.
And callous and just mean. And I don't want to be that person anymore. And I've spent a long time growing up. The time I did, I was an r/atheism enjoyer. I have a very negative opinion of a lot of religions. I've had the experience firsthand of the negative effects of Christianity and the way that I view that. And I've always read a lot of very bad things about Islam, and I've made a lot of criticisms of it. I've talked to a lot of people about it. I've heard a lot about it, and I've been like watching things about it, and I've been like hearing people telling me this is the way it is, but I've never seen it. And I actually think that after all this, I think towards the end of next year, I think I'd like to visit the Middle East and see it for myself. I want to see it.
Okay, interesting strategy. Interesting strategy. So, in my opinion, if it wasn't corporate enough, if we didn't have 100% proof that, this statement and this apology and video was forced by some person above Asmongold, I think that kind of seals the deal right there. I'm sorry, Middle East. As a matter of fact, I'm so sorry. I want to come visit you. Again, bit of teasing, a bit of jokes. But for the most part, that's very expected. It's kind of like celebrities do that. Like they're like, oh, I made a mistake. I didn't realize this part of my community and blah, blah, blah. I want to give back to them and learn more about them. It's giving definite, like, when you're in a work setting and you like violate like an HR thing and then they force you to do training to like learn more about cultures and things like that. I've never done that. It's just things I've read about online and seen videos of, but that's what this entire video gives off. Again, if it's honest, I accept his apology. I don't know if you do. You'll have to let me know. But again, it does definitely give off a bit of like corpo slop speak as well at the same time. Now, after this video, Asmon would end up going on Reddit with a post on his own subreddit r/Asmongold saying, why apologize? Because it was retarded to use Palestinians interchangeably with religious fanatics and terrorists. Obviously not all people in Palestine are trash. It's really not that complicated. Also, it wasn't just that issue. Don't let yourself become ideologically captured by a worldview to the point where it makes you so unreasonable that you turn into what you're fighting against. No one wins when I stand behind a statement that's false or mischaracterization. Hasan should learn that. My freaking dad told me over a year ago I was getting too harsh on my stream and I ignored him. Same with a lot of real life friends. I think I've just been increasingly more hostile and negative that brings a bad vibe to the stream. A good comparison, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero playthrough versus Wulong playthrough. Basically what I'm trying to say is I want more Sparking Zero playthroughs and I never want to play Wulong again. The vibes and feel of the stream recently has been a lot more tense, and a lot of that is my fault. If you think that means my first stream back is going to be playing Dustborn and promoting Sweet Baby, I think you'll be very disappointed. So, we're relieved at that point at least. I'm not changing anything other than trying to be more positive and less mean-spirited. Also, sponsors had nothing to do with it. This wasn't even a top 5 worst things that I've said. I've wanted to step away from leadership and take a break from all of that for a while now, for about a year, because the amount of commitments compounded on top of maintaining my streaming schedule was unironically ruining my life. Also, if I'm not involved with them, why would it matter what I say? Hopefully y'all can see how this really is a macro issue and not just this situation. My life has actually been fricked over for a while now, and I need to fix it. I'm a 34-year-old single man living in his mother's house with dead animals and garbage. Although I don't hate it, I don't want to die this way. Have any feedback or questions? Ask. First things first, let's clean that room up, Asmon. You can do like a 24-hour room cleaning stream. Get every big content creator on there to help you clean your room up, and maybe you can get yourself a nice house. Rent the Asmongold house, call it like the Asmongold experience, and leave your setup there. People can fiddle around with it and stream from your account or something. Like an amusement park or a museum, you know what I mean? That'd be pretty cool. But ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're going to wrap up the video. that's it for the Asmongold lore until he returns. I don't think I'll be covering any more of this. I think this is a open and shut situation. He made a mistake. He apologized. He's taking a break, taking a step back, and we're all going to be going our own separate ways again. I'm not an Asmongold hater by any means, you know. I think he's a funny dude. I think he's cool. I agree with some things, disagree with a lot of others. But either way, I hope, you know, he does well in life. I hope he finds happiness and, you know, reaches out to people he's hurt and makes amends and whatnot. And hopefully everything works out for him. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about this entire situation. Do you accept his apology? If not, why or why not? Bye. Peace out.